everyone, and welcome to a new video. Why do your photos look amazing except for that completely white blown out sky? Is it your camera? Is it your settings? Or are you just missing one simple thing? Blown out skies are one of the most common problems in photography. And the frustrating part is they're often completely avoidable once you understand actually what's going on. So in this video, we're tackling those darn blown out white skies, why they happen, and more importantly, how to fix them. If you stay till the end, I'll show you one setting you can turn on inside your camera as sky insurance. My name is Simon D'Entremont, and I'm a professional nature and wildlife photographer living in Eastern Canada. I make weekly videos giving you photo tips or taking you behind the scenes for nature photography. Subscribe if you want to see more. Okay, let's start off with the causes of this, because this isn't just one problem. First off is what I'd call the root problem, the one that is the problem that all the other causes are linked to, and the culprit is dynamic range. Your camera can only capture so much difference between the bright and dark areas of a scene. If the light is very bright and your subject is dark, something has to give. The overall scene may have this many shades of tones from pure white to pure black, maybe what we'd call 18 stops of dynamic range. Your eyes can capture maybe 14 stops of dynamic range at any given time, but by changing the size of your pupil, like the aperture blades in your lens, you can let in more and less light and focusing on dark and light parts of the image one at a time. This allows your eyes to have virtually as much as 20 to 24 stops of dynamic range. But our cameras take a photo one fixed setting at a time, limiting us to less dynamic range, maybe 12 stops for an entry-level camera and 15 or 16 stops for a professional camera. So your camera can't capture the darkest darks and the lightest lights at the same time. You need to choose one at the cost of the other. And what are the lightest lights? Usually, it's the sky. So we end up overexposing the sky, causing it to be what we call blown out. No information left, zero, and no details to recover. In a histogram that shows the distribution of darkest pixels here to brightest pixels here, this touching on the right-hand side means overexposure. So our mission here is, how do we not touch the right-hand side? The first reason you may be blowing out your highlights is because of what the camera is trying to do for your exposure. Your camera is trying to make everything average out to middle or 18% gray, a gray that reflects 18% of light. Without knowing any better, this is what your camera tries to get your exposure to in any mode other than full manual. It says move the exposure level until the image average brightness is right here. But if your scene has more dynamic range than your camera sensor, and your camera tries to get the exposure in the middle, boom, your sky gets sacrificed. A variation of this is having a dark subject compared to a bright background. If you expose for your subject, you're often pushing exposure higher than the sky can handle. Your subject looks great, but the sky is gone. This creates a dilemma. What's more important, preserving the sky or getting your subject well exposed? What do we do about this? One thing you can do is use a metering mode that takes the sky into consideration in the shot. You see, if you use spot or center-weighted metering to get your subject properly exposed, you may blow out your sky. Using matrix or evaluative will consider the sky brightness in the exposure and try to preserve it. Then in processing, raise the exposure of the subject to be less dark. Another workaround to this problem is to reduce the difference between the foreground and sky brightness. For example, when backlit, the sky is really bright and your subject is showing you their shady side. Go around them to shoot the subject from the well-lit side, greatly reducing the difference between the lights and the darks. In the same way I'm helping you improve your photography, I'm personally always looking to improve what I do for you, my viewers, by improving my game. And I think the best thing I can do is raise my game for video and audio editing. I'm excited to partner with Skillshare for this video because I use Skillshare for growing my skills, as they have tons of great videos on audio and video production. Check out this lousy sounding audio, crop this deeply and still get good quality. You should try, and this much better sounding audio as I implement the tips I found on the topic in the audio class by Marcel Patillo. I'm also watching Marquise Brownlee on making engaging videos. If you've seen my first videos on YouTube, you'll see I've come a long way. If you're a photographer looking to expand your reach, learning some video skills is critical, as that's the format that social media and marketing firms are favoring these days. Use that to promote your photography. Skillshare has creative classes taught by world-class creatives like professional illustrators and successful entrepreneurs. It's the best place to learn a creative skill or pick up a new hobby, and it's not from AI, but real humans. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or use this QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Give them a try. The next problem causing blown out skies is shooting when the light is harsh, like midday. You've got really bright skies and darker land and shadows, maximizing the contrast and maximizing the dynamic range. That's basically the worst case scenario for blown out highlights. The fix here is easy. Find shooting scenarios that favor a softer skylight. That is why pro shooters setting up for a shoot with people, for example, will ask clients to meet them early or late in the day. Now let's look at some practical fixes, regardless of why you ended up with a problem. If you take one thing away from this video, it's protect your highlights. The easiest way to do this is to slightly underexpose your image so the sky isn't clipped. This is called exposing for the highlights. You can always brighten shadows later in processing, but once highlights are gone, they're gone forever. So when you're looking at your photo, check the histogram and try to get the peaks off the right-hand side. Leave a little gap. If you're in aperture priority or shutter priority, program mode, or auto ISO, dial in some negative exposure compensation. Now what does that mean? Exposure compensation is basically an override dial on what your camera thinks is the right exposure. If the camera's best guess at 18% gray, for example, has the skies overexposed, like here, move exposure compensation left. That is, darken the exposure until the sky isn't blown out, and take another photo. Look for this symbol for exposure compensation on your camera, or look on the back LCD for a light meter. And that takes me to my next tip, blinkies. So in the previous tip, how will I know my skies are overexposed? Turn on highlight alerts. These are alerts that flash either after or while you take photos, telling you that your whites are overexposed. On a Canon camera, that's in the blue playback menu. On a Sony camera, this is under exposure, color, zebras. On a Nikon, look for playback display options and click highlights. On OM Systems cameras, playback, info settings, live view info, highlights and shadows. On a Fuji, playback display info, highlight alerts. And on a Panasonic, playback menu, highlights on. Another potential solution to this problem is called exposure bracketing. This is when you take more than one photo, often 3 or as many as 5 for example, using different exposures, some designed to capture the brightest parts of the image, some designed to catch the darkest parts of the image, and you combine them in software to get the best of all images in terms of exposure. This isn't feasible in many genres, but in something like landscape photography on a tripod, where nothing is moving, you can take multiple images and stack them together. So you can go from these 3 images to this. My next tip is to shoot in RAW. RAW files hold way more highlight detail than JPEGs, as the files have more information in them. So you have the ability to capture more dynamic range and a better chance of recovering bright skies. And even if you're very close to clipping, you've got a better chance of recovering some detail. Because note that blinkies on the back LCD are made from little JPEGs your camera made to display on the back LCD, not your raw photo. So if you have just a wee bit of blinkies on the back LCD, if you shot in RAW, you can probably still recover some whites. And my next tip is related to the previous one. What did I mean when I said recover some whites? By that, I meant to find some details in the bright whites by lowering the exposure in processing. Overly bright whites hide details in them. You can reveal those details by making the whites a little bit darker, but don't make them so dark that they're gray. So in Lightroom, for example, that would be lowering the whites or highlights. This would darken the bright whites slightly without darkening the overall photo, but getting some details in the brightest whites. And if you shot in RAW, the more this technique will work. And I promised you a 1 setting insurance policy. On some cameras, you can trigger a setting that makes properly exposing the highlights more important for the camera. On a Canon camera, this is called highlight tone priority. This protects your skies, but it does it by quietly underexposing your image and boosting the shadows afterward. Nikon has active de-lighting. That's not exactly the same, but does try to protect highlights. Fuji has something similar under image quality, dynamic range. And Panasonic has iDynamic. Now note that these don't increase dynamic range. It just shifts the exposure to protect the highlights, but maybe at the cost of shadows. But it is a good insurance policy for newer users. I hope you can use these tips to go out there soon and come back with your own unique and amazing photos. I know you can do it.